is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host, and welcome to the Lone Doctrine, the food for thought exploration station and your place in making today better than yesterday. If you're just tuning in with us, welcome. And every single month we pick a topic. This month's topic is about empathy. We're going to dive right in. Empathy, in a nutshell, is an awareness of the feelings and emotions of other people. I'm sure you've heard the term to be in my shoes, which is essentially relating in a way of stepping aside from our own feelings and viewing life from someone else's perspective. When we acquire the skill set of empathy, and yes, some is innate and some can be developed, we understand and, more importantly, react from a genuine concern, which in turn allows us to approach life in a more constructive, productive, and compassionate sense. And I don't know about you, but this world needs all of those aspects now more than ever. The world needs you. Those of you that are tuning into this podcast have made the decision to better your life, which in turn is bettering everything around you. You may or may not believe in this, but the truth is you are the change. When it comes to empathy and empathetic listening, it breaks down into a handful of things. Understanding others, truly understanding, supporting others' development, having a service mindset, being open to diversity and celebrating individualism. Do you want to be accepted? Do you want to be loved? Most everyone does and deserves to be. Whether we take the time and learn how to understand someone's thoughts and emotions in a rational, unbiased way, or we feel the sadness or even happiness in someone else's life and can't help but feel the same, or understanding someone's feelings to genuinely be supportive and help are all what makes this world and each of our lives that much better. So let's take the first aspect and see if we can start building our emotional intelligence and bring more empathy into the world. So number one, understanding others. First, it's about taking the time to stop, listen, and take an active interest in someone else's concerns. What are some ways of doing this? Well, we can pay attention to the emotional cues, whether the person seems happy, sad, tense, nervous, scared. And then we take it a step further and notice the nonverbal communication. Now, nonverbal has a science behind it, but it's not an exact science. Even though you might not be a nonverbal specialist, there are still very clear signs of emotions, such as when someone is smiling, laughing, or stomping, throwing a tantrum. Hopefully that's mostly children. Whether someone is sitting with crossed arms or welcomes you with open arms. And whether you believe in energy or not, sometimes we can feel someone else's emotions. Once we show sensitivity to others' feelings, then we can approach the situation in a way that helps you understand the other person's needs. Here's a great quote. Instead of putting others in their place, put yourself in their place. Here's another idea. Supporting others. When we understand someone's needs, we act from those needs. Have you ever tried to fix a problem, but the problem or person doesn't really need fixing? I always think of this quote, especially when people reach out to me for guidance. When a flower doesn't bloom, fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. In my past, I've always been the fix-it person. But sometimes I had to learn that my way of fixing things wasn't always the right way. Whether good intended or not, when we support people in their own strengths, you address their needs and concerns, you help them reach their full potential. Side note, that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in. The Lone Doctrine is a listener-supported podcast, and without you, this exploration station in helping others the best way I possibly can wouldn't exist. And with that said, if you found value in the Lone Doctrine, we would be so grateful for your support. We've partnered up with Patreon, which is a place where you can help us stay on air and keep our doors open in supporting our listeners in making today better than yesterday. Thank you for your consideration, your support, and a very special thank you to our current Patreons who make the Lone Doctrine possible. We hope to see you at patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. I really appreciate your consideration in supporting the podcast. As a listener and with your membership to Patreon, I can provide more food for thought to this podcast in hopes of making your today better than yesterday. Last but not least, celebrating diversity. This statement may seem welcoming to some and may make others a bit uncomfortable. All the more reason to be here today, listening right now. When we celebrate the awesome fact that so many of us are different, not better nor worse, just different, we can gain much more than we may realize to our own personal lives. Diversity, in a way, is an opportunity. Diversity works better together than division. When we celebrate diversity, we become better at challenges such as intolerance, bias, and stereotyping. I came across this study, and it shows just how impactful even just stereotyping can be. A psychologist from Stanford University did a series of tests about stereotypes. He asked two groups of men and women to take math tests. The first group was told that men usually did better in such tests than women. The second group was told nothing. In the first group, where people had been reminded about the stereotype, the men performed significantly better than the women. There was no difference in the second group. This psychologist suggested that being reminded of the stereotype activated emotional centers in the brain, resulting in anxiety among the women, which affected their performance. This shows how dangerous stereotypes can be and how they can have a very real effect on performance. This was just a math test, not to discredit the importance of math, but what happens with life's bigger subjects, the well-being of all of us. Empathy is really important. Whether it helps you be a good friend, get hired for a job, have better relationships all around, to be successful with a team of others, so many things in life depend on being able to understand other people's perspectives and emotions. Empathy is the root of all healthy relationships. It helps you understand how your actions will affect others and what actions you need to take to make life that much better. So, the question is, will you make the choice to welcome empathy into your life? A little bit every day helps. So, keep fighting the good fight.